welcome to this lesson of biology on the endocrine system. At the end of this topic, everyone will be expected to know the parts that makes up the endocrine system, as well as the hormones that are excreted by the endocrine system. Okay? My names are Marina Loveness Silengo. Just like I said earlier, today's topic will be on endocrine system. A system just like many other systems that are found in your bodies. Okay, now before I start this lesson, one of the things that we were taught in grade 10 are the characteristics of living things, of which sensitivity is one of the characteristics of living things. Okay? Sensitivity is simply the ability of an organism to respond to stimuli. And we all know by now that stimuli can be anything such as sound, anything such as light, or water. It can be anything that can make an organism to respond at the end of the day. Now, we have different types of organisms out there, and they respond differently to stimuli. The way human beings respond to stimuli is different from the way plants respond to stimuli. Okay, so our main focus is on human beings, like how they respond to stimuli. Yesterday's topic was on the nervous system, and today's topic is on the endocrine system. Both systems help human beings to respond to stimuli. Okay, the other day I told you that the nervous system responds to stimuli by use of electrical impulses. But today I'm going to tell you that apart from the nervous system, the other system in our bodies that helps us to respond to stimuli is the endocrine system, and it uses hormones. There's a chart right there at the corner. I want everyone to pay attention. I want everyone to pay attention. Have you seen the chart?
Yes.
Okay. So that chart you are seeing there, it's composed of glands. Okay? It's composed of parts of the body known as glands. As you can see, there are many, including ovaries, including the pancreas, something that you already know, right? Okay, so those things that you are seeing, those glands that you are seeing, they make up, all of them, they make up what is known as the endocrine system. Okay, but the question still remains, what is the endocrine system all about? Okay, but you already know one thing, okay? So the endocrine system is simply a system that is made up of glands that secrete chemicals known as hormones. Let me write that down. The endocrine system is simply a system that is made up of glands. It is made up of glands that secrete or that produce hormones. Alright, most of you I'm sure are wondering, what are hormones? You are wondering, maybe some of you have never heard of the word hormone. Okay, so just to simplify things here, hormones are simply proteins. Do you know that your body is made up of proteins?
Yes.
Okay, so hormones are simply proteins that are secreted by glands, transported by blood. They have one or two effects on target organs. The definition is known, right? Okay, so what I'm saying here is that hormones, these are simply chemical substances produced by glands, transported by blood. Then they have one or two effects on the target organs. Let me write that down. Okay, so hormones are chemicals that are quoted in nature. Okay, these are chemicals secreted. To secrete is to produce. Okay, secreted by plants, transported by blood, and have one or two effects on target organs. Are you following me? Alright, so hormones, these ones are secreted by organs, later transported by blood, then they have effects on target organs. I'm sure others are wondering what target organs are. Okay, so target organs, these are simply special organs of the body that respond to stimuli. The endocrine system, this system is not about responding to stimuli. Okay, so it does that with the help of the hormones as well as special organs known as the target organs. Okay, so the target organs, these are simply organs that respond to stimuli. Of course, they work under the influence of hormones. So target organs cannot respond to stimuli without what? Hormones. Hormones have to be involved for target organs to respond to stimuli. Okay, so we move on. The next thing that we are going to talk about are the glands, the glands that you saw there. I want everyone to take a look at that chart once more. I want to pick one gland. We talk about the hormones that it produces. Okay, everyone to look at the chart. Everyone to look at the chart. Have you seen the location of the adrenal glands? Okay, so adrenal glands, these are simply glands that are located above your kidneys. Do you know that you have kidneys?
Yes.
Just above the kidneys, you find the adrenal glands. So we'll start with the adrenal glands. After the adrenal glands, we'll talk about the testes. Have you seen the location of the testes?
Yes.
After the testes, we'll talk about the ovary. Have you seen the location of the ovary?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll start with the adrenal glands, testes, then ovary. Alright. The adrenal gland secretes how many hormones? Two hormones by the name of adrenaline as well as aldosterone. Welcome to biology, the subject of big terms, right? Okay. So adrenal gland secretes adrenaline, and the aldosterone hormone. Okay, so we'll start with the aldosterone hormone. We talk about its function, the aldosterone hormone. Do you know that there is salt in your body? There's salt. There's some salt that you take in whilst eating. It's there in the body. Okay, so there are certain times when that salt becomes very low in concentration in your body. Okay, now before I go any further, boys and girls, one thing that you should know is that hormones are things that they are not secreted anyhow anyway. They are only secreted on special occasions when there is a condition. Are you following me? They are not secreted anyhow anywhere. They are only secreted when there is something special given a condition. Alright. So aldosterone, this one is only secreted when the salt levels are very low in our bodies. It is only secreted when the salt levels are very low in the body. Once it is secreted, it is transported by blood. It is transported by So I can just simply say that aldosterone plays a very big role in the maintenance of the salt levels in our bodies. But the target organ which it works on is the kidney. So the kidney, aldosterone, they work hand in hand to maintain the salt levels in the body. And this one is secreted only when salt levels are what? Very low. Okay, so this one, it maintains salt levels in the body with the help of the kidney. With the help of the kidney. Alright, we move on. I said the adrenal gland secretes how many hormones? Adrenaline. We go to this one. Adrenaline. Okay? Adrenaline. Okay, now this adrenaline is also known as the fight. It has a funny name though. It is also known as the fight or flight hormone. As I explain further, you get to know why it is known as the fight or flight. The flight or fight hormone. Alright. This adrenaline, just like I said earlier, adrenaline, just like any other hormones, are hormones that are not secreted anyhow. Okay, so this one is usually secreted when someone is scared, when someone is excited, or when someone is very angry. Okay, so this one is secreted. It is secreted when a person is angry, scared, and excited. This is when this hormone is excreted in our bodies. Yes, Monica?
Madam, what would happen if the adrenaline is over-excreted?
Okay, now that one we'll look at it in the next lesson. For now, we just want to know what adrenaline does to the body once it is excreted. Otherwise, that question will be tackled in the next lesson. Yes. Okay, so adrenaline is secreted when a person is angry, scared, or excited. Alright, so boys and girls, when someone is very angry, when someone is super angry, that person can even do what? Pick a fight. People usually tend to pick fights when they are super angry. Are you following me? Alright, so this is where now this comes in. I said adrenaline is also known as the what? Fight hormone. Alright? It is also known as the fight hormone. Okay? It is known as the fight hormone. So it is known as the fight hormone because it is usually secreted when someone is angry and they want to do what? To fight back. Then adrenaline is also known as the flight hormone. Okay? So when someone is extremely scared, sometimes they tend to do what? They run away, isn't it? Because they're what? They are scared. This is the reason why I was telling you that this one is known as the flight hormone. Flight hormone because that I hope. Alright. Flight hormone because when someone is scared, that person can do what? That person can run away. Alright, we move on. Okay, so let's talk about the things that adrenaline our muscles to contract and relax rapidly. One of the things that adrenaline does to our bodies is to make our muscles to do what? Contract, relax rapidly, enabling us to do what? Make movements of fighting what? Back, making us to do what? To run away. So once adrenaline is secreted, it makes muscles to contract, relax. Enabling someone to make movements of doing what? Fighting or doing what? Okay, so that is number one. It makes muscles to contract and relax rapidly. Then number two, once this hormone is excreted, it makes someone to breathe at a very fast rate. Okay? When someone is running, what do you think happens to the breathing rate? It increases. Others, when they are scared, what happens to the breathing rate? It increases. Okay, so breathing rate increases the supply of oxygen to the cells, which is needed during respiration, which will in turn produce energy that is needed for doing what? Fighting or running. So the high breathing rate increases the supply of oxygen at the what? Muscle cells. Okay? And that oxygen will in turn lead to the production of a lot of energy that will make someone to do what? To fight back. Are you following me? Alright, so it increases the breathing rate. It increases the breathing rate. Then number three, this adrenaline also increases the rate at which glycogen is converted into glucose. Remember, glycogen, that one is a carbohydrate that is usually stored where? In the muscles. Once this hormone is secreted, it increases the conversion of that glycogen into glucose. Glucose that will be needed during respiration to produce energy that you are going to use to do what? Fight back or run away. You get the point? So it increases conversion of glycogen to glucose. Glucose that will be used during respiration to produce energy that will be used to fight or to run away. Okay. The other thing that adrenaline does is to increase blood circulation. Okay, so adrenaline, boys and girls, does a lot of things. But for now, I'll just mention these three things. The other remaining effects, it's your homework. Are you following me? I've given you, it's your homework. Go do research. Adrenaline does many things to the body. Alright, so for now, let's move on. I say after the adrenal gland, we look at the what? After adrenal glands, we look at the what? The testes, right? Alright, so we start with the testes. The testes. Okay, so just in case you never know, the testes are also very good examples of the glands of the endocrine system, and they produce a hormone by the name of testosterone. Welcome to the subject of TEMS. Okay, so the testis produces the hormone. It produces the hormone testosterone. It produces the hormone testosterone, which brings about the secondary sexual characteristics in males. wet dreams. Apart from that, okay, so wet dreams, scientifically we can just say, usually when this hormone is secreted, it leads to the formation of sperms that leads to wet dreams. Are you following me? So we can just say that testosterone, its function is to, leads to the formation of sperms in males. Okay? Who can give us the second one? Yes, Peter?
Menstrual cycle.
In males. Yes. Another one? Yes, Aaron?
Voice.
Okay, so the other thing that testosterone does is to deepen the voice of a young boy who is becoming a man. Are you following me? Alright. So apart from that, testosterone also brings about the development of facial hair. You call them beards, right? Some of you have them, right? They've started developing, isn't it? Alright. So testosterone is the one that causes that. Okay, now this one goes to the voice. Okay, so at what point in your life your voice was this small? Like, someone exploded my voice to Mom, I want to move for biology. Alright? So from a small voice to a deep voice. All because of it. Okay, so there is no witchcraft involved. When you see beards, don't cry foul. It's just testosterone playing its role. So testosterone is a hormone that brings about the formation of sperms. It makes someone's voice to deepen. Apart from that, it makes your muscles to develop. Some of you don't even go to gym, but you have got muscles. Like your muscles differs from that one of the female, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Alright, so we move on. We talk about the ovaries. As I write on the board, then you come up with answers. Okay, so we are going to look at the ovaries. Okay, so the ovaries, you've seen the structure of the ovaries on the chart, right? Okay, so the ovaries, they secrete a hormone by the name of estrogen. Okay, so ovaries secretes a hormone by the name of estrogen. Okay? The ovaries, they secrete a hormone by the name of estrogen. The function of estrogen is a bit, similar to that one of testosterone. Okay, so estrogen is a hormone that brings about secondary sexual characteristics in girls. I want two people to give me examples of secondary sexual characteristics in girls. Yes, Mungalipi.
Madam, it's becoming nice.
Very good. Okay, so this estrogen, once it is secreted in the body, it makes girls to develop hips. Alright. Apart from that, what else? Mimika.
Menstrual cycle.
Speak up.
Menstrual cycle.
Okay, so estrogen also brings about the onset of menstrual cycle, commonly known as periods. That's what you call them, right?
Yes.
Okay. Let me write that down. Okay, so this one, the estrogen, this one it leads to the formation, to the development, it leads to the development of breasts and hips. Then contributes to the onset of menstruation. Alright? Then, apart from that, it leads to the formation of pubic hair in girls. Okay, now this one goes to the girls. Alright? Girls, at one point, your chest, that chest that you are having, it was flat, like flat as a table. But this time around, it has scales. Okay? We are so scales. It is the breast, the breast. Okay, so the breast that you have, they came about as a result of estrogen. Okay, right now, what I'm about to say goes to both the girls and the boys. Most of you used to have very smooth skins, like that one of the baby, right? But nowadays, you have the issue of pimples. They keep on coming, growing. Very stubborn ones. Alright, so boys and girls, the pimples that you have frequently, now and then, are as a result of these culprits, the estrogen and don't let me know witchcraft. It is the estrogen and testosterone that brings about those new changes in your body. Okay, that's it, boys and girls, on today's lesson. Alright, so today's lesson was on the endocrine system, the system that is made up of glands that secrete hormones, okay, hormones such as adrenaline, which is known as the fight or flight hormone, which makes us to do what? To fight or to run away. The cell endocrine system secretes hormones such as the ovaries. The cell endocrine system secretes hormones such as the estrogen, testosterone, which brings about sexual characteristics in both males and females. Alright, that's it for today. My names are Marina Loveness Silembo. On behalf of the production team, it's bye for now. Till we meet next time.